The Roborock S7 and Ecovacs T9 are two of the best robot vacuums ever made, representing over 20 years of progress for the industry. They're both packed with features, so deciding which is best for you, purely based on the specifications, is a bit like deciding your favorite meal by reading a recipe book. We have a lot of experience with both robots, and these are our recommendations. Vacuuming performance. Both are exceptional with ample suction power. The T9 has more raw power at 3000 pascals, however the 2500 pascals on the S7 is more efficient, as it is lower and it follows the contours of the floor, creating a better seal. There are slight advantages to both approaches. The T9 is a little better at picking up larger objects or pet fur that is clumped, and the S7 is better at finding debris and crevices. Personally, I wouldn't make a decision between these two bots based on the vacuuming performance, as there's not much to separate them and both do exceptionally well at deep cleaning. Brushes. The T9 adopts a more standard bristled roller brush, while the S7 uses an all-rubber system. The rubber brush gets less hair tangled around it, although some will still accumulate along the edges. The S7 also has one rubber side brush, while the T9 has two standard ones. We have heard from a few people that the S7 brush doesn't do as well in some very specific situations. It seems to struggle particularly with ragdoll cat fur on specific types of carpet. In the majority of cases though, the convenience of the rubber brush is better. Navigation. Both robots use LiDAR for positional navigation. They're both methodical and gentle on walls and furniture. The software on both is impressive, and that's coming from someone who is very used to how clever these robots are. The T9 is the quickest robot I have ever timed around my apartment, but again, the S7 is very close. Both have virtual barriers and no mop zones. Mopping. These are two of the most popular active mopping robots on the market. Most hybrid vacuum mops simply drag a wet mopping attachment around, which is useful for maintenance cleaning, but doesn't lift the more stubborn spills that have been there for a while. Both also have adjustable water flow rates. The T9 mop oscillates and the S7 uses sonic vibration mopping. Now, you're not the only one that is confused right now. What this actually means is that the oscillations on the T9 mop are larger movements. The whole mopping pad moves back and forth quickly in a big scrubbing motion, while the S7 mopping pad vibrates. The movements are much smaller and faster, and they're tough to see visually. Roborock claim that their system is 4 times more effective than the standard dragging around method, and it makes sense that it is better, although it is hard to quantify exactly how much better it is. The larger scrubbing motion of the T9 does make it more effective on those tough spills. It's worth noting that the mopping pads on the Roborock can be cleaned in the washing machine and reused, while the Ecovacs are disposable only. Obstacle avoidance. This is a first big win for the D-Bot T9. It uses a secondary laser system on the front to detect items on the floor below the line of sight of the main LiDAR. Ecovacs call this True Detect 2.0. It's important to note that this isn't 100% reliable, and it's still best practice to pick up before sending it out to work. While the S7 doesn't have obstacle avoidance, this doesn't mean it blindly bashes into walls and furniture. The term obstacle avoidance can be slightly deceptive in this regard. It is still intelligent and gentle. It just can't see items below the line of sight of the main LiDAR and relies a little bit more on the bump sensor, which only takes a few grams of force to turn it away if it doesn't see something. Raising the mop. And now for the first big win for the Roborock S7. It is the first hybrid robot vacuum that can raise its mop when it detects it is driving on carpet or rugs. Every robot mop owner will immediately understand what this means, but I'll elaborate for the newcomers why this is so important. You see, other robot mops also use ultrasonic sensors to detect carpet, however, as the mop can't be raised, it will simply avoid driving there as it would make a damp mess. If the majority of your flooring is hard, or if you only have one area that needs mopping and you can find a place there for the base, this is probably not an issue. However, many homes have a mixture of carpet and hard floors. Any floor that has carpet between it and the base location essentially becomes an island, as the robot will not even transit across it with the mop attached. Carrying the robot back to base isn't a huge deal, but it may be something people don't always consider, and not having to think about it is another level of convenience and automation. The Roborock mop only raises 5 mils when it detects carpet, and as the sensors are on the front of the robot and the mop is on the back, it is generally quick enough to detect it and raise the mop. If you do have medium pile or deep pile carpet, it may not be enough, so you can almost disregard this feature. Air fresheners and other features. The Ecovacs T9 is the first robot to have an air freshener and 3D mapping. The air freshener smells surprisingly pleasant. It is subtle, more like an expensive male perfume than a high schooler's spray-on deodorant. Transforming your floor plan from 2D to 3D still involves quite a lot of manual setup, so while it is a cool concept for the future, neither of these two features would really affect my decision-making process. Auto empty station. Both robots have an auto empty dock available in the Plus model. The Roborock has a unique system that sucks the debris back out the way it came in, which seems a bit more effective at emptying the dustbin, particularly if it's totally full and a little bit compacted. In Australia and New Zealand, the Roborock Auto Empty Dock has the option of being bagless or bagged, which is awesome, while the Ecovacs requires disposable dust bags. Both docks hold up to 30 days of debris. Overall, the Roborock S7 and the Ecovacs T9 are very comparable, and it is more a question of what is most suited to your home and what you prioritize. As I said earlier, for everyday users, it really is a bit like BMW versus Audi. Both are exceptionally competent and will shock first-time robot users how well they actually clean. To me, it comes down to whether I would get more convenience from never having to carry the Roborock S7 over carpet to mop, versus the T9 getting stuck less frequently if I leave things on the floor thanks to its object avoidance. If I was buying it to vacuum daily and mop once or twice a week, it would be hard to pass over the T9, but if I wanted to mop and vacuum every single day, then the S7 is the better option. Please subscribe to the channel for more content. There are a couple of huge reviews coming from Roborock and Ecovacs coming soon. Otherwise, please like the video and ask any questions in the comments below.